today's episode, we catch up on the Year 4 camp that happened last term and taking a quick peek into Mrs. Tinsley's biology class.
I'll take you through some of the latest updates from around the college.
I'll take you through stories from our wider community. I'll take you through this weekend's weather.
And I'll recap this week's sports in Down to the Siren.
All that and more on HCC In-Depth. Good morning, legends! It's Friday, 15th of May, and welcome to HCC In-Depth. 4 weeks down, Harshant, and only 5 to go. Wow. Anyway, let's take a closer look at what's been happening around heritage.
Here's a quick look at some of the highlights from the last few weeks. This has been a week defined by reflection, gratitude, and community. On Tuesday, the 5th of May, our Year 9 students travelled to the Shrine of Remembrance for the 94th Melbourne Legacy Anzac Commemoration Ceremony. This wasn't just a history excursion, it was a deeply moving extension of their World War I studies, offering a moment to truly pause and honour the sacrifices made for our freedom. The atmosphere was one of profound respect. Our students stood in the presence of the Lieutenant Governor, moved by the stirring sounds of the Melbourne High Military Band and the Mac Robertson Girls Choir. A particularly touching moment saw 2 of our own student representatives step forward to lay a floral tribute at the Eternal Flame. Seeing our students represent the heritage community with such dignity and heart at this historic site was a moment of immense pride for us all. Our journey through the past continued as students stepped back in time aboard the Polly Woodside. This 19th century tall ship served as a vessel for imagination, allowing our students to look beyond the history books and feel the reality of maritime life. By exploring the iron hull and cramped quarters, students caught a glimpse of what life was like for those transported to Australia in the First Fleet. It was a sobering, hands-on experience that allowed them to reflect on the grit and endurance of those who paved the way for the nation we live in today. Last week was truly special as both Officer and Narre Warren South campuses opened their doors to celebrate the mother figures in our life. With an estimated 225 plus mothers and mothery figures joining us for classroom activities and a combined chapel, the sense of family was overwhelming. The most beautiful part of the week was seeing that love overflow into our local community. Students visited nearby shopping centres to hand out handmade gifts, and the response was deeply touching. We received a heartfelt message from a local resident at Arena Shopping Centre who wanted to share her experience. She said, "I just arrived home after doing some grocery shopping at Arena Shopping Centre. While there, I had the pleasure of meeting some of the lovely young students. They handed me a chocolate and a gorgeous flower whilst wishing me a happy Mother's Day. We are often so quick to point out negatives. The students were all so well behaved, and I wanted to thank the school, staff, families of these young children and the little ones themselves. Knowing that our students can brighten someone's entire week with a simple gesture of kindness is exactly what the heritage spirit is all about." Finally, we kicked off Arts Week by bringing a whole new energy to campus. We traded a quiet lunch for the powerful rhythmic pulse of an African drumming workshop. Under the guidance of a professional lead, students gathered around djembe drums to learn the art of strike and tone. What started as simple tapping quickly grew into a massive, complex group jam. There was an incredible sense of connection in the air. It wasn't just a lesson, it was a full-blown vibe that brought everyone together. It is safe to say that the bar for the rest of Arts Week has been set very high. These stories remind us that at Heritage, we aren't just learning history or art, we are learning how to be a community. These are just some of the highlights from across the college, with more in-depth stories to come. Madelin and Harshant, back to you.
The Year 4s had their camp last term at Mill Valley Ranch. It was an awesome experience for students and a nice break for parents. Let's take a quick look at their adventure.
Recently, Year 4 students from both campuses travelled to Mill Valley Ranch for their very first camp experience. During the camp, students took part in a range of activities, including meeting farm animals, going horseback riding, canoeing on water, and even heading out on a night hike. The camp was filled with many opportunities for students to try new things, build confidence, and enjoy time outdoors with their classmates. After a full day of activities, students settled into their cabins where they enjoyed some downtime together before getting ready for bed. Let's hear from some of the students about their favorite parts of the camp.
I like horse riding because it was very fun and not just walking around normally, just bumpy and went over logs and stuff.
It's been the best thing for you?
Canoeing. Because I got to go in the water and it felt really weird, but it was fun and stuff.
You know, our recent trip to Mill Valley Ranch was more than just a getaway. It was an opportunity for first, an opportunity for big breakthroughs for many of the students. I mean, at this age, independence is just starting to bloom. This camp is a vital part of our curriculum because it asks the students to take ownership. So whether that's organizing their own cabin space or encouraging a friend who is feeling a little nervous about, being away from home, this was a great opportunity for them to do that.
It's clear the Year 4 students had an unforgettable experience packed with adventure, laughter, and plenty of new memories. After a day of canoeing, horseback riding, and exploring the ranch, it sounds like those cabins were the perfect place to recharge for the next day activities. I'm Mari, reporting for HCC In-Depth. Back to you in the studio.
For a first camp, that looks pretty good.
Hi Heritage College parents, my name is Megan Jaworski and I'm looking forward to being the guest speaker for your parenting forum to help you support your child who might be experiencing feelings of anxiety, worry, overwhelm. I'm going to be going through what anxiety is, how it might show up for your child, and really practical tools that you can implement straight away to support your child with their emotions. So I look forward to seeing you at the parenting forum for Heritage College. Have a great day. Bye.
Last time, Year 12 spent time learning about bacteria. In their lessons, they got to cultivate their own bacteria in a classroom environment. We caught up with Miss Tinsley to find out more.
Year 12 biology has been lighting up, literally, with a practical that brought science to life in a pretty incredible way. As part of their latest unit, students took part in an experiment where they made bacteria glow bright green. Using a special piece of DNA, students were able to give the bacteria a new ability, glowing under UV light. After carefully completing the process in the lab, the bacteria were left to grow over 48 hours, building anticipation for the final result. And when the time came to check, the payoff was worth it. Under a UV torch, the bacteria lit up in a vivid green glow. Let's find out more from Miss Tinsley.
This is our Year 12 biology class here. They're just finishing off a report that we have done on transforming bacteria. So the practical we put in the green fluorescent protein to make the bacteria glow. And we saw that many of the students were successful in this, and we could see that their bacteria was glowing on the correct plates. So part of VC biology is that we learn about bacterial transformations, and we look in particular at how human insulin is made. And so this process that we did during the practical is exactly how they make human insulin. So it was great for them to just see practically hands-on how that would happen. For this practical, what we've actually done is we have the green fluorescent protein on a bit of DNA called a plasmid. It's a very small circular piece of DNA that can be inserted into bacteria. So during the practical, we did a method called heat shock, where we cooled down the bacteria, heated it up quickly with the plasmid in with it, and then cooled it down again. And that allowed the plasmid with the DNA to go into the bacteria very quickly. And so that's what allowed that bacteria to become transformed.
For many students, it was a highlight, turning something usually seen in textbooks into a real experience. From glowing results to unforgettable moments in the lab, this practical showed just how exciting science can be. I'm Zakari, reporting for HCC In-Depth. Madelin and Harshant, back to you.
Crazy to think that bacteria can grow from just about anything. Inside school, we have a few events, but outside the walls of heritage, quite a lot is happening. Let's take a quick look and find out more.
Welcome to Beyond Heritage. Here's a look at some of the biggest stories happening around our local community. The city of Casey has some significant financial news for the residents in Narre Warren South and beyond this week. The council has released its draft $691.4 million budget for 2026 to 2027, focusing heavily on infrastructure. It includes a massive $141.5 million capital works program, which will fund everything from road renewals to the expansion of active after dark program to keep our local reserves safe and accessible at night. Just down the road in Officer, we've seen the successful completion of major upgrades at the Turwumik Creation Reserve. Thanks to a partnership between the Cardinia Shire Council and the state government, the reserve now features upgraded LED lighting for the netball courts and Oval 1. It's a huge win for local sports clubs and will make evening training much safer for everyone involved. Switching to some news from the ADRA network. Their local op shops, including the Busy Hub in nearby Garfield, are seeing a surge in community support. This May, these shops do far more than sell affordable clothing. The funds raised go directly back into our region to support Women's Refuge at Young Risk Youth Intervention and job skill training. It's a fantastic way for locals to shop sustainably while funding vital social services right here in the southeast. Finally, for those living in the Cardinia area, the council is calling on you to help shape the future of our suburb. The 2026 Household Livability Survey is officially underway this May. 6,000 households are being contacted to share on their thoughts from everything from mental health to social cohesion. It's a chance for residents in growing areas like Officer to have a direct say in how the community evolves. To find out more about these stories, check the link in the description of this video. That's all for this week's Beyond Heritage. Madelin and Sean, back to you.
If you have a story or suggestion for our show, then please click the link in the description or scan this QR code to get your story featured. I don't know about you, Harshant, but winter is quite quickly coming along. It sure does. There was hail in Clyde North the other day, and I honestly thought it was snowing. Let's chat with Krika to find out more about what the weather has for us this weekend.
Looking ahead to the weekend, the weather is going to keep us guessing. We've got a bit of everything from grey skies to a few sprinkles, which is honestly about as typical as it gets. Friday, 15th May, we're kicking things off with a cloudy day and a top of 22 degrees Celsius. Saturday, May 16th, except mostly cloudy skies during the day with a high of 22 degrees Celsius before some light rain moves overnight. Sunday, May 17th, things cool down significantly with a high of 17 degrees Celsius and a light rain expected throughout the day. Monday, May 18th, we wrap up the period with more light rain and a top of 17 degrees. Of course, this is Melbourne, so there's every chance you'll need both sunglasses, a jumper before the day is over. Stay safe this weekend. Madelin and Harshant, back to you.
Thanks, Kritika. Looks like another fun weekend of weather. We have another special guest joining us for In Focus, which for those who don't know, it's where Olivia gets to interview all kinds of different people. Let's see who she's speaking with this week.
Welcome to In Focus. On today's episode, I'm speaking with Miss Mateo, who's joined us today to talk about herself and what she does here at Heritage College. Thanks, Miss Mateo, for joining us.
Of course, thanks for having me.
So for those who don't know who you are, can you start by introducing yourself and telling us a bit about what you do?
Excellent. So yes, as you said, my name is Mrs. Mateo, and what I do here is I'm currently the acting head of secondary. So what I would say to people when they ask me that is I'm just looking after things that are happening in the high school area.
How long have you been in this role and what first drew you to it? Where did you come from previously?
Great question. So I have been at Heritage College since 2024, initially coming in as the Deputy Head of Secondary, so working alongside Mrs. Gillard, who was the Head of Secondary. And then when she went on maternity leave, then I've stepped in to take her role while she is a mama. And so, yeah, you asked the question about what drew me into this role. I guess just the opportunity to be able to make a difference. So being in leadership is a challenge, but it gives you the opportunity to put processes in place to be able to make school a really great place. So that's what drew me into the role.
Who or what has had the biggest influence on the person you've become?
Can I cry now? No, just joking. Great question. I would say obviously other than God. So there's a text in the Bible that says, with everything that you do, do it with all your might. As if serving the Lord, not people. And so I would say that's my philosophy going into every day, that I'm my real boss, as much as it is Mr. A, and we love you, Mr. A, my real boss is God. And so I want to do my best for him every day. In terms of the person that I am as well, obviously my mum and dad have raised me to have a really good work ethic. And I guess one of the things that I loved about how they raised me was they taught me the importance of education. And they said that they want me to do my best, and then it's through those experiences that I had that I want to create an environment for our kids to be able to do their best as well. So mum and dad, and then obviously God is number one.
Yeah. What is the hardest part of your role that most people never see?
Yeah, if we're going to have a vulnerable moment right now, I would say the fact that I'm a human too. I think sometimes it's easy to critique people in leadership or critique processes, but I guess I want people to know that I'm also a person, and sometimes, I have good days and bad days and otherwise. And I think if we're always mindful of the fact that when we're interacting with one another, we need to do so with kindness, hence my shirt, I think that's something that I'd want people to know.
Yeah. Is there a moment in your career that changed the way you see work, something that shifted something in you?
That's a great question. I think that I feel like I've been a teacher for 20 years, and I feel like each school has shaped me in a different way. I've had some really amazing experiences working in a number of different school environments, and each one has taught me something. I can't think of any particular monumental shift, but I would say, yeah, every student that I've interacted with, every family I've got to talk to, every school I've worked at has taught me something, and I think has sort of put me on the path that I'm on right now.
When you think about the legacy you want to leave in your role in people's lives, what does that look like for you?
So I remember last year when Grace was doing her final school captain speech, she spoke on this topic of legacy, and there was something that she said that really resonated with me. And that's this idea that legacy, when we talk about legacy, it points to self. But true legacy is about pointing to someone higher than us. And so this idea that maybe through the interactions that I have with kids or with our staff or with our parent body, that in some way I am reflecting God's character and pointing people to him. So I hope that, yeah, if there was ever a situation where I left and people were reflecting on my time here at Heritage, that they would do so feeling like, maybe they were pointed to God through the interactions that they had with me.
Yeah. What's one piece of advice you'd give to a student watching this right now who's still figuring out where they're headed?
I think it's okay not to know every next step. I think that you need to pray about where you feel like God's calling you. I think that he's given every single student giftedness in a certain area, and that we don't have to be a particular person, that God's calling us to, and he's going to equip us for whatever it is that he has in store for us. So prayerfully consider what your giftedness is and how God can use you in that space.
Yeah. Last one, if you could leave everyone watching with just one thought to carry with them today, what would it be?
I can't help but want to reference a saying that came about in FOF last week, which was God is more than able. So if there was anything that I could leave with students, whether they're thinking about what happens in the future or even what's now, no matter the challenges you're facing, no matter what's going to happen in the future, God is more than able to see you through.
We really appreciate your time here.
Of course. Thank you for having me. And can I say, loved the deep questions. None of them were easy questions like you asked Mr. A. These were harder ones for me, but really appreciate the opportunity to give people a little bit of insight into me and the role that I have here at school.
Yeah. That's all for this week's In Focus. Madelin and Harshant, back to you.
Heritage, are you ready? Ready? It's another week for Down to the Siren.
Welcome to Down to the Siren. We are hitting the midterm stride in week 4, and while the schedule was a bit quieter for some, the intensity is definitely heating up across the college. In primary sport, it has been a productive and steady week for our physical education program at both campuses. It was business as usual for our comprehensive swimming program at KC Arc. Students from OCP and NCP have been focusing on stroke refinement, water safety, and endurance. The consistency shown by students across all year levels is setting a fantastic foundation for our future aquatic carnivals. On the competitive front, it has been the calm before the storm. With the inter-school scoreboard remaining quiet this week, our students athletes have had a rare chance to step back from the travel schedule and focus on international skill development. But don't let the quiet fool you. The energy on the ground suggests a big finish for Term 2 is just around the corner. Now into secondary. And Wednesday the 13th was a massive day of intermediate CSEN action. In girls basketball, the team played with great heart but ultimately fell to St Andrews 16-28. The boys' volleyball match against Cairo was an absolute nail-biter. They narrowly went down 2-1, losing the sets by only 2 points each. Despite the loss, the boys showed incredible composure and skill, fighting for every point until the very end. Our boys' netball team also secured a fantastic victory, defeating Waverley Christian College 23-14. Girls soccer led the charge with a dominant 4-1 win against Cairo Christian College. We also have the results for this week's secondary cross-country carnival. In 4th place, finishing on 81 points, is Elliot. In 3rd place, with 87 points, is Court, which leaves just 2 houses. In secondary place, after a very close battle with 111 points, is Jackson. And taking out the secondary cross-country for 2026 by just a single point, finishing on 112 points, is Landy House. A huge effort from all houses with great participation and team spirit across the day. And before we go, it's time for our Players of the Week. For primary, congratulations to Josiah M. from 3M at NCP for his outstanding use of the court and teamwork while learning netball, and Ava G. from Prep J at OCP for displaying incredible resilience while mastering a new skill she deemed to be too hard. For secondary, congratulations to our standout performers Grashan S., Reek G., Bailey M., Sienna B., Kidal S., Natalie W., Adonis M., Janya K., Joshua H., and Maria O. These students were recognized for their participation, sportsmanship, and the way they represented the college values in PE. For those secondary students, stay back after chapel to get your medals. At Heritage, Player of the Week is not just about ability. It's about effort, attitude, and how you support those around you. That's all for this week's edition of Down to the Siren. Madelin, Harshant, back to you.
Yet again, we showed up and we cleaned up. Good work to all the students and teams. You made Heritage proud. Yet again, that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in for week 4 of term 2. If you have a story you'd like to share, we want to hear it. Please share us any story you think you'd like to have featured in HCC In-Depth. No matter what the story is, we want to hear it. Fill in the form in the description or scan this QR code for more. Until next time, Heritage, have a great weekend!